Hey guys, so today in this video I'm just going to go over some beginner tips for Excel users. So in this video I really just want to go over a lot of these fields and the ribbons here and what they're used for, the fields that you're going to use the most as an Excel user. So we'll start with the Home ribbon, Home tab up here at the top. If we can look here at the font section, this is pretty self-explanatory. So if we just go to a cell, type in some word, up here we can change the font of that word, similar to how you would do in Microsoft Word, assuming that you're familiar with that. You can change bold, italicized, underlined. You can change what color you want to fill the cell in with. You can also change specific color. So if the color here isn't, or the color that you want isn't shown up here, you can go to More Colors and either choose, if you go to the Standard tab, choose from this this grid here, or you can get a little more specific and choose the exact shade of color that you want. And you can also change the color of the font here, and similar to the way that you did filling in the cell, you can change the color of the font as well in a similar fashion. Okay. And if you want to go back, erase work that you've done, you can click on the cell, delete it. That'll delete the contents of the cell, but it will not delete the format of the cell. For example, if I type in anything here, it'll be the same font that I filled that cell in before. So you'll either have to go manually change it back to no fill and automatic, or you can just hit Control Z a couple times until the cell goes back to before you had made any changes. You can also change the size of the font, so you can decrease the size of the font, or increase the size of the font, decrease the size of the font. You can center, once we move over here to the alignment tab, center to the left to the right. Now, for this, to illustrate this further, we'll come back down here to the grid. In Excel, we have columns and we have rows. And this field here that you operate on is called a grid, and these individual little grids are called cells. Cells have locations, so location C2, so this is cell C2, and you can also see that that is illustrated here up here, C2. And you can change the name of the cell. That's a little more complicated. We can get into that in a future video. You can change the width of the cell by grabbing in between the columns and dragging. You can also change the height of the row in a similar fashion by clicking and dragging. You can also click on a column. I am going to come back to this. I just wanted to illustrate how that's done. If you click over here on Format, you can set specific widths and heights. So if you click column width, it's set to 8.43 units. Not sure what that measurement is, but if we say we want it to be 16, it's essentially going to double that size. And then if we click and hold, we'll see that the width is 16. And we can just hit Control Z if we want to go backwards. So if we have a cell that's wide and thick, and we have a letter in there, go back to the alignment tab, left, right, up, center, down, left, right. Okay. Say that we are working in a cell and we are typing in a sentence. The dog is brown. Now say that we want this column to be exactly the length of the sentence that we typed in there. What we can do is double click the end of the column. So if we double click in between H and I, so basically the end of the cell that that's in, it'll automatically fit the length of that cell. Now say that we want to, we have a sentence or some values in here that extend to 2 cells, or say we have a header and we want to fill things under that header. What we would do is highlight 2 cells, click merge and center, and then those 2 cells are now combined. Merge and center, now they're combined. So if we have a header here, and then we want to do column 1, column 2, etc., etc. Now say that you're doing a bunch of work here and you're not exactly satisfied with that work and you just want to erase it. What you can do is drag, click on a cell, drag across, right click on that cell, and this gives you a bunch of things that you can do. If you hit insert, insert will insert columns before. So if I hit insert here, it'll insert 1 column. If I highlight 2 columns and hit insert, it'll insert 2 columns. But if I want to just erase all of this work, I can right click and hit delete, and then it'll delete that. If I want to undo this column here, I can just delete. And then you see that that 2 doesn't go away. It's still always 1 and 2. If I delete column A here, it just still is column A. It just, everything now shifts to the left. So these here are unchangeable, the column headers and the column rows. Say that we're working with numbers and we want to change the format of the numbers. So we'll say that we have 1,000. I want to change the format. The best way to do it would be to click up here in this number tab. Click on this drop down. Here we see the default selections. So if it's typically it's just general, no specific format. If it's a number 1,000, so what we can also do is click more number formats, which will just give you more options than what's shown here. Say it's currency, and we want to the 5th decimal place. Change the decimal place here. Say it's just the standard number, and we want to see the 1,000 separator with a comma, and we don't want to see any decimal places. We can change that here. We can also change how negatives are displayed. If we just want to say negative with a dash, or if red parentheses. So we'll say OK. And then if we type in negative 1,000 in that cell, it'll show up as red. Faster way to do it, or we'll just go to the cell here, would be to do what I did there. Up here, we have 1,000 separator, and we can change the decimal places. We can increase the decimal places, and we can decrease them to 0. So I'll just go ahead and, oops, go ahead and delete those. Or you can clear contents. Clear contents just clears the contents of the cell, no formatting. So if I was to make that black and hit clear contents, that'll still remain black. But if I hit delete, it'll remove it. So moving on to conditional formatting. Conditional formatting is a little tricky, so that's probably best served for another video. Just for basics, being able to format a cell here with the font and the numbers and the alignment, that should be acceptable. Same thing with tables. I can create a separate video how to create tables. I know that's used a lot for people that use Excel in business, creating tables. So that's probably best served for its own video. So we discussed formatting just briefly. Say that you have a cell that kind of goes overboard. Say this one's even bigger. And instead of double clicking on each cell, because maybe you have 100 cells, what you could do is highlight the cells, hit format, and auto fit column width, and it'll auto fit automatically different cells. Even if you have just a little one in here, it can fit smaller. So that J column now is smaller. These are over up here in the editing field. These are more for calculations. That's something best served for another video. I see the video here is running a little long. So the insert, these tabs up here, these will get used more as you start to use Excel more. They're not going to necessarily be used by the average Excel user or the beginner. Graphing things is something that may be used. That's something that I can show in a further video. Page layouts. You can use Excel to basically mimic Microsoft Word. You can create documents and print them to have it look like a sheet of paper, and that's done here. Formulas. This is once you start getting into the more mathematical side and doing calculations. If you want to see what cells are referencing other cells, if you're doing complex calculations, that's done here. Data. This is similar if you're linking other Excel sheets to this Excel sheet, or if you're creating lists or only allowing certain things to be entered into a cell. That would be done here. And there's other things that you can do, other specific things. Review is similar to Microsoft Word and spell check. Typically, Excel does not spell check things for you. So if I was saying the, and I typed in THW, it's not going to put a red squiggly line under it like Microsoft Word would. So if you were worried about your spelling, you would come here to the Review tab. Developer, that's not going to be used by your standard Excel user. This is where you would work with macros. Macros definitely deserves its own video. View, you don't really need to use this View tab. I never really use it. If you want to zoom in and out, you can come down here to the bottom right of the screen, zoom in and out that way, or you can drag this way. Another thing that you should know is down here there are sheets, so you can create multiple sheets within one tab. So if you're doing some financial sheet, maybe this is financial sheet year, you can rename it. This is 2017, and this one is 2018. So instead of creating a new Excel file for everything you do, you can create new sheets as well. So I think that should wrap up this video for beginners. Obviously, Excel is a very powerful tool, and there's lots of things that we did not go over. Those I'll probably try to fit into other videos. If you guys have any specific things you'd like to see done in Excel, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll make sure that if it's reasonable to try and get that video out for you. Thank you.